So I have got a wicked new program that I'm using that I wanted to show everybody. Well, you can find it on Wunderlist.com. You'll see it at the top here, Wunderlist.com. The best way to describe this is it's an app. It's so you can use it on your phone, if on an iPad, if you have an Android, whatever, smartphone, or you can see I'm on a laptop here and I'm using it here. So it's uh, it's a lists for everything. Any idea that pops up into my head, I'll just give you a sense of how I organize mine here, but and how I've used it for my real estate business in particular. Um, so one thing I do is add an inbox, and anytime I get a thought pop into my head, I'll make it a to do. So training program for new agents. If that's something that I absolutely need to do, and I need it done by a certain date, I can double click on here. I can do a few things. So I can hashtag Doug, and I'll show you later how that makes it searchable, but it's great to add hashtags for new things like this. I can add another hashtag if I want, training, and then I can schedule an actual due date for those things. So if I want to do that on the 6th, I can do that, and then I'm just going to send a reminder for myself at 9 a.m. I'll click on save. And if there's something else that needs done, I'll add a subtask to that. So email to Ron, training list. All right. And then I can add notes to that. I can be as detailed as I want about just this one particular to-do that I've got in my list of things that I need to remember. I can also attach a file, so if I had specific things within my Dropbox file folder, I could add that, and I can add comments. So there's no lack of information, that anything that you're missing out on. And I would just click enter. If I wanted to add another sub task in there, test, whatever. It doesn't matter what you do. So now that it's got all those things in here, I can click on just about anything else, and I'm going to add another to-do in here. Just again, something that might pop into my head. Read new manual for Toronto MLS. I don't know. Doesn't really matter what it is. I'm just putting this in for placeholders right now to show you samples. So I've got my three things. I can either take these and I can move them anywhere else within here, or I can just leave them where they're at for now. What I like to do is I like to have inbox items for the day, so I know that I can organize these later. These are just, again, thoughts that pop into my head throughout the day, things that I don't want to forget or that need to be done, and I can't really take the time to file them. And think of it as a filing cabinet almost online, like a Dropbox, but this is just for ideas and just for things that you need to do. So I've got my inbox. I've also got assigned to me. So one awesome thing about Wunderlist is it's shareable in the cloud. So if I have other people that I want to add to these lists, for example, I'm going to show you in a minute how to do that. So if you're working in a team or if you're working in a partnership, it's amazing, just absolutely fantastic. Or if you're working just as an individual, this will help keep you extremely organized. So I would have things that are assigned just for me, which is fine. I have things that are just for today, which is also good. I can show items for the week that need to be done. But what I really like this for in particular, I like keeping track of my active listings and all my checklists that come along with those things. So I'm just going to give you a sense of how I do that and how I set them up. So I create these master templates. Basically, a listing checklist template. It's all the steps of service that I have for my actual, for all my listings. So all the things that we do once we get a client file signed and they give us the go ahead. So I don't want to make sure that I really want to make sure rather that I don't miss a beat. So I schedule all these things as to-dos, and I almost do like a work back schedule. So if I have an idea of the start date, I'll work back from that start date, and I'll schedule times for all of these tasks. All right, so if you've ever used a program like a top producer, it'll give you a sense of, how many days from the listing do you want to schedule all these items. So this works in a very similar way, or the way that we use it, it does. But the best part about this is it doesn't cost me anything. So it's totally free. So I've set up these great master templates, and if I like the idea of this master template, I just click on this little icon here, and it gives me the option to duplicate the list. So if I want to duplicate the list, I just click on that little arrow. If I want to share this list with someone else, meaning, for me, I work in a partnership, I want to share it with my brother. So the Gordon Brothers team at gmail.com. So this is the email account that Rich is using. I'm going to click on done, and then it should start sharing that list to my brother. All right. So see these little people down here on the left hand side by 12355 Anywhere Street. Uh, if I click on those little people, it shows me that the Gordon Brothers team is also shared to this. So it's pending right now, meaning he hasn't agreed to share this list, but I'm the owner. I've created it. I've shared it with him. Once he's logged in and agreed to share it, we would click on done. This list then becomes shareable. So, if I've done things on the checklist that need to be done, I would just tick them off in here. And the best part is once I start ticking things off, I can scroll down to the bottom and I can show what's been done on the listing so far. So that's always great to see. And I can share this list with a client if I wanted to. But the best part is, I can tick on any of these things and I can actually see who's done it. So down here at the bottom, you could see completed a few seconds ago by Doug Gordon. Again, if you're working in a partnership or if you're working on a team, this is some level of accountability. So it's really great to be able to see something like that. So I can go in and do all those to-dos, and then I can see, all the other items that need to be done. We can assign those to different people if we want. Again, well, you get a sense here. Assign to. I can assign it to myself, or once Rich has actually ticked off that he wants to share this file, he would pop up here as the other option. Or if we had things that were specific for our administrator to do, she would pop up here as an actual third option. So we can assign different people within the team different tasks for our listings. All right. So those are, again, the best way to do this is to create master templates. I have them for like a buyer sale checklist. So once a buyer's purchased a property, this is our list of things that need to be done that we always do. All of our listings, they get certain things that we would always do for all of our listings. And then once a property sold or conditionally sold, we would change it actually to a different file folder, and then we would have different follow-up to do. All right, so that's all within the master templates. Within our active listings, I've created to-dos, or I guess to-do lists, and I've just made copies of things right now to give you a sense of how to use it. But under active listings, I would just label all of our property addresses here, and then I can follow up and tick things off as they get completed. All right. I probably haven't ticked anything off here, but no. So nothing's been done for 154 Nowhere Street in Ajax yet. Oh, getting back to, you see the hashtag here though. So some of the things I might hashtag with my own name because I want to create and make things searchable that way. So I can see anything that's been hashtagged to my name, and I can see the due dates. All right, so if I wanted a quick glance at all the things that I needed to do, if I hashtagged everything, it would always pop up here. All right, same with training. I think we only did one of those. Yeah, so anything that's hashtagged with the name training, you can hashtag it with an actual property address maybe, or a client's name. That would be a good option as well. Um, anyway, if you want to make things searchable within here as you start using it a lot more and you get busier and you get a lot more to-dos on your list of things that have to get done all the time, um, you start relying on these things a lot more, and the more you sort it out, when you put it in, the easier it is to find and organize. So that's active listings. Again, we have listing sales. So once a property is actually conditionally sold, I would move it into this file folder and give it a new checklist of stuff that it needs done. All right, so I can just create a new one for that. I've also got active buyers, and I just thought I can label my clients. I just use this almost for note taking. So if I go out with Tom Smith, I went out with Tom over the weekend, and I made a few notes of what we did. Okay, we were out looking at homes on April 4th and 5th, saw a total of 6 properties, and I listed off those property addresses, or one, two, maybe I want to put in the property addresses. So I put in 123 Anywhere Street, 234 Anywhere Street, whatever the addresses are. I just put 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as placeholders because I didn't want to write, 6 fictional property addresses. Out of the 6 properties, they love 123 Anywhere Street. It was open concept floor plan and a new kitchen. Maybe I want to put a copy of the actual MLS listing and attach it onto here, so I could do that if I wanted to. And they're considering an offer follow-up. So I scheduled that for tomorrow, and I put a reminder here at 9 a.m. So I definitely want to message out Tom. We had a really good showing at that one property. I know when the offer date is, so I've put my follow-up in here. Again, once I've considered it, we've scheduled something, I dump it in here. I set it and forget it. You know what I mean? Like, it clears my mind of all this clutter. The million things that we have to do as realtors every day. So it's really great for that. I feel completely organized using a program like this. And then again, if I want to make notes for Jane Doe and John Doe, so we were out looking at properties, signed paperwork. Paperwork on April 4th. I can attach the actual paperwork to this file if I wanted to. Looking at homes this weekend, and then all the dates are there for that I want to add in. All right. So it was created a few seconds ago, but if this note was created, it'll give me the actual date and time that when I created this note. So I really don't need to remember to do every little thing. And the notes are really handy if you go back in and you've been working with a client over a course of a year or whatever. They start referencing properties from a long time ago. You can really start looking at all these things. Go back and look through the notes. If someone was referred by someone else, it's good to track it all in here. Anyway, buyer sales. Again, same type of thing. If I have a buyer sale or a property is conditionally sold, there's certain steps of service that I don't want to forget, and they can always be in here. All right, I've also created other file folders, but you might want to do different things than what I do. This is just how I've been able to find function within this program. And I've got my to-do today list. I've got my to-do someday list. All right, work on a pre-listing package. That's something longer term that I want to work on. Meeting with a trainer. So this for me is like, it's probably a personal trainer. I don't know, you know what, I can't remember if it was a real estate trainer or not. And in this case, I didn't actually make any notes, so that's totally useless. Let's take that off, because it's meaningless to me now. I don't know when I created it, but anyway, maybe I'll come back to that one day and realize that I need to meet with a trainer. If I've got hot prospects, so if I've got people that John Doe was a hot prospect that I met. Jane Smith was another one. you can populate this list. You get the sense of what it can be. Just make it a list of names, right? So I've got that sort of list that I can reference at any point in time. These are the people that I need to follow up with every day. Maybe there's another list of like warm leads, people that I would follow up with once a week, or once a month, or longer term cold leads. Maybe I want to have a separate list for those people too. So I can just log on here on a daily basis. I can go through this list and schedule different time frame follow-ups for each of these people. Or if they're that important to me, maybe I want to actually, make active buyers and then create lists for them individually, or or maybe not buyers but active prospects. I want a separate file folder for active prospects. So one good way actually that you can do that, if Jane Doe maybe wasn't an actual buyer and John Doe wasn't a buyer, I can drag Jane right. I guess you got to get her out of this list first, and same with John out of this list. Once I drag them over top of John over top of Jane, it allows me to create a new folder. So I'm going to call that Hot Prospects. And now they're out of active buyers and they're hot prospects. All right. So, the hot prospects are leads or names that I'm going to go through every day. Okay. So under John Doe, maybe I want to schedule follow-ups. So I can do that. Follow up via email. And then I can actually, again, schedule in a reminder and say it's for the 29th. And I'll let it remind me at 9 a.m. Maybe I want to add a note here. So I don't know what the email is about. John was back from holiday and wanted to check out new listings. He went to Florida. Florida. Ask about his holiday with girlfriend Elaine. Elaine. Okay, so that just, you know what? A few weeks have gone by. I only met John, talked to him once. He'll be impressed with the fact that I remembered he was going to Florida, and that he only mentioned once his girlfriend Elaine in passing. But again, I want to pay attention to all the details. So I've got that follow-up scheduled. I really don't need to worry about John again, and I can do that for all my house prospects. So if Jane has something else, again, she's looking at properties this weekend and then sign paperwork. So Jane is actually a buyer. She's not, she would be moved out of a hot prospect list. Again, you get the sense of what this can do. Door knocking, if I come across people as I'm door knocking, if I'm out on the go and I've had a good conversation, I want to make a note on the spot of what the person's name is and what the address is, and I can make a little note. So I'd add it to do if I'm out door knocking, 88 Hot Street, Jane Smitty was her name, and that's it. I can schedule a little follow-up or something like that if I wanted to. Maybe I add a note, spoke with Jane at door, and she wants a CMA when her husband gets back from vacation. When husband, terrible, is home. May 1st. Okay, so I'm going to schedule a follow-up for May 1st. I know her husband's back, and we set this reminder here as well, so I can change the time if I want to something else, if I wanted to, I don't know, 10 a.m. I'm going to change that time and save. So again, I really don't need to worry about anything. I've made a note of who she is. I've made a note of the property address. I've already scheduled a follow-up. So I've done all the things that I need to do, that I need to be concerned about. And that's a lead that I will not forget about. So I can assure you, before, there are many of these people that I spoke with over the years that, I didn't make a proper note of, or I didn't make good enough follow-up notes, and they just kind of slipped through the cracks. So these are different ways, and it doesn't matter what your prospecting method. I think, for mine, I'm just using door knocking as an example, but it could be anything. Education, that's something else. If you wanted to, you had certain things that you wanted to learn, or courses, just add them as a to-do list in here. Um, Interestingly enough, I started using this program when with my wife. So she got this program, and so did I, and we started using it as a grocery list. So as I'm, out at the grocery store, she's typing in all the things that we need. Cereal, the spelling looks weird, but I think it's right. Uh, Ketchup, I don't know, whatever. You get the idea. So as she's typing, I'm getting a notification on my phone showing me exactly what she's adding to this grocery list. So this is where it's really cool. If I'm going through and I'm shopping, as I'm picking these items up, I tick them all off, and she's notified right away. So she can see that I picked up the things that she's asked me to get, because we share this list. And then maybe I forget something, or, I don't know, they don't have the kind of burgers that I like at the store. Then I would leave it on the list, and the next time she's out, she picks up burgers. So as long as you update it, it's very, very good for, whatever it is you want to use it for. And then this read one day list I have, you can actually set up notifications and things on your phone, or if you wanted to download a website that you're on. So I have apps and things that I check out on a pretty regular basis, or that people, say, hey, have a look at this program, or look at that one, or this would be great for the office. I might just add them into my read one day file, where I really don't want to get bogged down with learning something new today, but it sounded so great in a training session, I really don't want to forget about it. So, kick ass real estate.com was an awesome site that I needed to look at. I just put it in here, and then I know that, what, I've added it in at some point for a good reason, and maybe I want to make a note of where I learned it. Last week's Remax convention, it was mentioned. Now I don't have to worry about remembering to do everything, or again, cluttering up the feeling, getting my mind cluttered with all the things that I need to do, or all the things that I need to learn. I can just schedule it in here, and then I don't have to worry about it again. So this is an awesome, awesome program. I really can't speak enough about it. I think everybody should get it, or at least try using it. If you're good with checklists, if you're not good with checklists, it's still really great. If you're good with any kind of apps, or you're looking for something that's going to help you stay organized, stay on top of all the small details, and really it can make you a lot more efficient in the way that you're doing business. Very, very good for an individual. It's awesome in teams, and it's awesome in partnerships, because again, all of this syncs within the cloud, and it's shareable to everybody that's working on it. Anyway, this is Wunderlist.com, and I'm Doug Gordon with Remax First.